You might be headed toward a high conflict divorce if there is really no room for two people's opinion in the conversation. You might be headed for a high conflict divorce if you feel like you can't bring up anything or risk a lot of rage, anger, and possibly violence. You might be headed for a high conflict divorce if you just see things completely different and you both care a lot about that. You might be headed for a high conflict divorce if you see raising your children really differently, because that feels so important to both of you that you can't get into a room and have a conversation about it. And you might be headed for a high conflict divorce if one person takes a scorched earth approach, empties all the bank accounts, sells all the assets, whatever that is. Those might be warning signs that this is going to be a high conflict divorce. False accusations are a really challenging problem in divorce, especially if it calls on you to prove a negative. If you try to prove that you're not something, that can be really, really challenging to do. One thing that you can do is go out there and get evidence that what the other person is saying is just not true. Another thing is to really understand the problem from a broader perspective so it shifts a little, and maybe the false accusation isn't such an important thing in the end after all. If you're in the middle of a high conflict divorce, and frankly, if you're in the middle of any divorce, it is really important to protect your mental health. Getting some help, a therapist who understands divorce, or a divorce coach who you feel like you click really well with, can really help. One thing that's incredibly important is feeling like you can talk to your lawyer about what it is that's actually going on. Your lawyer is not your therapist and probably not a good person to use in that way. Your lawyer can guide you to get a referral that will help you through the most challenging aspects of a high conflict divorce. Compromise is a powerful tool in divorce negotiations, but it shouldn't be your first go-to. If it is, the other person's going to take advantage of you. Here's why. You come in thinking, I'm a reasonable person. I'm going to make a reasonable proposal. So I'm just going to make my first proposal as a compromise. The other person might say, well, this is a great starting offer. How about we split halfway between your compromise and my position? Now you're going to feel really taken advantage of. Compromise is an important aspect of all negotiations, but you shouldn't start there. You should start by thinking about what's important to you and what you think is important to the other person, thinking of them in the best possible light. And from that place of really understanding your own priorities and the other person's priorities, think about a win-win solution. What are some options that could actually give you what you want and your spouse, your soon-to-be ex-spouse, what he or she wants as well? It is important to build a little bit of wiggle room into every proposal you make. Everybody likes to feel like they won a little, so building that in at the very beginning so your soon-to-be ex can feel like they won a little, that's just good strategy. If you have any questions about dealing with a high conflict divorce, please contact us at Miller Law.